Hey there, manifesting generators. Thanks for joining me for your intuitive reading. If you're new to the channel, I do my readings based on the 5 human design types, and I use tarot, oracle cards, and sometimes runes. My readings are non-date specific, so if it resonates with you, then it's your message at that time. All right, let's get started. So first here we have the Lady of the Harvest. In your current situation, it feels like you might be in the process of letting something die out, accepting the need for change, accepting the need to move on from something, maybe letting go of old beliefs, and sometimes the old things that we weren't ready to process before, old traumas, old feelings that we've shoved down. They're bubbling up to the surface and being processed, sometimes throughout the day, sometimes in our sleep, and you might be feeling more tired than you normally do. Feeling more tired, or maybe you're feeling more drawn to being out in nature alone, maybe drawn to solitude or stillness or meditation. It's like subconsciously you know that you're going through something, and there is this need to let it happen, even though it doesn't make sense. And while it feels like it's a very exhausting energy, it's causing you fatigue, what it is actually doing is lightening your load. It's taking the rocks out of your backpack. It is offering you some form of liberation. And during this time that you're seeking out stillness, or maybe you're taking a nap, or sleeping an extra couple hours, you might be getting intuitive downloads. We can often better connect with spirit in our dream world, in the astral plane, when our analytical mind is switched off, or the focus of that part of your brain it's like it's dimmed, then you have access to other stuff. So you might be getting little pings of things to pursue, or things to remember, or inspiration, creative inspiration. So really pay attention to what's coming in, and really allow for yourself, if you need extra rest, take your rest. If you need, some extra amount of water or a certain type of food, really listen to your body and what's going on, because you're going through some sort of process at this time. Here are the other cards that came out with this. The Three of Stones, creativity. And I'm really drawn to, it's like she's completely almost in a trance state, and she's one with nature. I mean, her legs and her feet, like this could be the bottom of her dress, but it also almost looks as if they're the roots of a tree. She's like rooted in the earth. She is soaking up this energy that will lead to some creative spark or inspiration. This other card here, the Nine of Vessels, creativity. Now here he's in meditation, also almost in this sort of trance state. And it's like he's a receiver. He's receiving, all these vessels and cups are out. It's like It's like you're out in the wilderness and you can't find water, and you're putting out all these vessels in case it rains. Well, it's like you're in this trance state and it's raining, and you're going to collect everything that's coming in. Okay, sorry, had to take a quick break there. So, as we were saying, you're collecting what's coming in, all these messages, these pings, these inspirations. It feels like you have access to more than you used to have, and it could be really a time of you leveling up. This is a period of transition, of moving away from the struggle, the stories that you have, the stories of woe, you know, the stories of victimhood, of defeat. So when we have a lot of things in our life that have felt overly challenging, overly difficult, we start to buy into the pattern that life is always hard. You never get what you want. You know, you start creating this story. You buy into this story. And the stories we tell ourselves are actually really powerful. So telling yourself a story that you never get what you want, what you deserve, that things are always difficult, that you always have to work hard, that, you know, it's drudgery, isn't a really good story to be telling yourself. So you're moving away from that. You're currently in the transition. Like, this is what you're letting go, letting die away. And you're finding something that has been lost. This is Ilby the Retriever. Finding something that has been elusive, lost to you, hard to find, or you can be returning to something that used to really bring you joy, or used to feel good to you, or a part of yourself that you felt you lost. One example of this for me, this has been coming up a lot, is I have issues with people who aren't professionally trained artists, designers, musicians, etc. Any of, you know, a multitude of things. If they're not classically trained in that and they don't do that as their profession, how many times have you heard someone say, "Oh, I'm not creative. I can't even draw a stick figure. You know, I just do this." You know, it's like, it kills me to hear that, because I think that we are born, all of us, it is human to be creative, to be expressive, whatever medium that we choose to use to express that. I think it is human. So, and like anything, you know, I could say that I'm not the greatest cook, but I also don't put a lot of time into cooking. You know, I could be a good cook, but you know, anything that we do, we put time into, we put energy into, we do get better over time. And so if somebody told you at some early point in your life that you aren't creative, that you aren't good at this, or you aren't good at that, and then you shut that avenue down, that's when it was lost. So you could get to, let's say your 60s, in your 60s, and when you were, I don't know, 12 years old, your dad said that you needed to grow up and that, you were never going to be an artist, or you're never going to be a musician, and you needed to focus on this. And so, and, the drawings that you brought home from art class got thrown in the trash. It wasn't a valid endeavor. So that avenue gets shut down, and then you wake up one day in your 60s and you're like, I really want to draw, or I want to write songs, or play an instrument, or creatively problem solve, whatever it is that you do. And you're like, oh, I forgot that really was part of me. So you're going back to find something that was lost. And often it's the most common time that we lose things is in our childhood, when people are starting to shape, your family, your, local community, your society, your schooling starts to shape your identity, and you might lose pieces of yourself. Or it can be through some traumatic experience in your life, maybe in a relationship where, maybe you had one really terrible relationship, and when you got out of it, it's like you swore off ever putting yourself out there again, So these are just some examples. Think if anything comes to mind for you, what you might have lost that you want to bring back into your world. So in this time of letting go and releasing this old stuff and really tuning into what's coming in for you, we need to have patience. I am one of the most impatient people, and so it's very funny that Geo the Slow comes out. His message is pretty straightforward. Quit trying to thrash ahead and just carry on, because this is just a time that you need to take things a little bit slower. And if you're feeling tired, more tired than usual, then trust that. Trust your body. Trust that you need a little bit more rest. Maybe go to bed earlier, or take a nap, or instead of forcing yourself to push through something to get something else done, or maybe instead of doing a high intensity workout, you decide that you're going to do yoga today, because that feels a little bit more gentle to you. That's an idea. Just trust the timing, trust the flow that's beyond you. Nothing that is yours will go past you, and just try and have patience, even though it's very difficult. We feel so driven to be on this quest. This is eel. Be on a quest of personal revelation, of finding the answers, of finding the next step. Our desire for a particular outcome, our desire for union, of emotional fulfillment. So we just need to slow down and trust the process. And the reason why we're slowing down is we need to get clear on our purpose. You know, we have to have a good idea of where we're sending our arrow before we shoot it in the direction of what we want. Because otherwise, I mean, it could hit anything, right? So we're taking the time to get clear on intent and purpose before you start shaping the energy to create what you want. And once you recognize what it is you're going after, you breathe life into this idea, this thought, and you can pursue it to its material creation. So we have a lot of power over how we use energy and how we bring things into our life that we're looking for. But first, we need to really take the time to get clear on what that is. So have a little patience. Let this process carry through. I mean, if you think about it, I don't know if any of you have ever done a juice cleanse or a liver detox, something like that. The recommendation during that time is to get more sleep, drink more water, and get movement, like exercise and movement, but not necessarily rigorous exercise, because we think of our body working as like, we're lifting weights, or we're, doing squats, or going for a run, or getting all these tasks done. But we have no idea what's actually going on internally. And when we're going through a detox, your body is working overtime to clear out your system and lighten the load. And so it needs your external world, the actions that you take to sort of take the back seat, be a little bit slower, take pause, so that the internal, organs and things like that can do their work and really focus on that. So, I think this can be an exciting time for you to level up and get clear about what you want. I hope this message resonates with you, and I will see you next time. Take care.